My name's Nicole Keith, and on February 26th, my house was hit by a tornado. It's actually my house and barn. I've been working on it for quite a long time. Lately, I've worked on it on my own. My husband passed away 2 years ago, and it was a project that he and I worked on for several years together. When my house was hit by the tornado, it was devastating, like a lot of people. But I feel like mine was a destruction that was almost unbearable for me to even sort of process at the time. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. My husband and I started work on our half barn, half home about 6 years ago, perhaps 7 years ago. And it was a labor of love for us, and we spent all our spare time and money, and it was a fun thing that we worked on together, and an important thing, and something that we both really valued and wanted to have for our family. And unexpectedly, 2 years ago, almost very close to the date of the tornado, my husband passed away. I live in a somewhat rural area, so there's a lot of work involved, and labor and maintenance and things like that. And I also had to decide if I was going to continue to work on the house that Cody and I worked on together. When Cody and I started working on that, our kids were younger, things were different, and we thought we would have it wrapped up in no time. And I was already anticipating the emotions of the anniversary of his death. That's not something that you're looking forward to as it is. And I really just wanted that day to just pass on by and move along. And it did. It passed on by. It passed on by and took the roof with it. I just was paralyzed with fear and loss and confusion, really, because I felt like I had sort of lined things up with God, and we'd made this bargain, and I felt like if I had thought hard enough about it and made the right kind of decision and was, purposeful, that everything would magically work out. I mean, the destruction was incredible to see it. It was just spread all over the lawn. It just is beyond words. And part of what happened in this whole process is that from working at Reagan, I was flooded with offers of love and help. And part of that was that everyone's saying, Crosspoint Church, Crosspoint Church. And a good friend at work said, let us do something for you. What can we do? What do you need? And to be perfectly honest, when something like this happens, my world was already upside down. And this just made a mess of something that was already a mess. And I just asked a friend, I said, if you will do the reaching out for me, I would appreciate it. And that's all I knew to ask for. I didn't even know when someone said, what do you need? I had no answer because I couldn't even begin to know where to start. I mean, it's just a lot to see your life laid out on a lawn. And she was sweet, and she called, and she came to me, and she said, my friend Trey Roberts at Crosspoint Church thinks he knows you. And I knew immediately. I've worked for Norman Schools for 8 years now, and for a good chunk of that time, I worked at transportation. And so I had the opportunity to interact with Trey some through my work there. And another wonderful part of this story is that my dad, Steve Murphy, is your fun-loving keyboard player. And, he's just a wonderful man and a great dad. And it was just another connection. And it was just this incredible sense I felt just knowing, just even having, this was before anyone showed up to do anything. Just talking to Trey, talking to Jen, talking to my dad, finding out that people were there. I did have a community. I had a church. I had support. I had, that there was someone out there, that the world in fact, was not a horrible place. I am a positive person, and I really do try. I don't, like to lean to the negative, but it's hard when you have on paper what is consistently really tragic things, because from my husband to the tornado, that was not all of it. There is a lot in between there. I have other, expenses, car trouble, just multiple things that happen in life. But unfortunately, they all came for me in a very short, rough period of time. And I essentially was paralyzed. And then the church came along. And as kind of the week progressed, Saturday morning, one morning, I got a call and said, okay, the volunteers are coming, are you ready? And all I could say was yes, of course. And an army of Tinker volunteers and church volunteers showed up. And there were people from, military people from New York. There were people that, from all over the country that had never been in the middle of our Oklahoma tornado. And I had them, digging through the muck in my red dirt outside of my barn. Volunteers, the Tinker volunteers, they cleared out that horrible mess in no time. And they shored up the sides, and they made me feel like my whole life wasn't gonna cave in on itself. I was grateful that Cross Point and Tinker were the people that were there to, help me sort that out. I just think my faith in humanity, my faith in God, my hope that I would be able to provide a future for my sons and, myself, and be stable and, be able to stay in the job that I love and, just continue to live and, embrace my life, because, I want that. The unexpected is not fun sometimes, but then sometimes on the flip side, the unexpected can be a good thing. I certainly did not expect for someone to call and say, you know what, we're gonna help you. We're gonna fix this for you. We're gonna do whatever we can and whatever you need. And that is remarkable. It is a truly amazing thing. It's bigger than a God thing. You can't really get bigger than a God thing, but it's so many God things in a row that I don't even know what you call that. It's a miracle, actually. I think that there is a word for it after all. And it really might be. It's an embarrassment of riches to me to have that kind of love poured your way. And it's hard to know how to receive that care and love. And I appreciate it so much. And just to keep saying thank you seems like such a small thing, but I feel like that's all I can really do. And it's, I so sincerely am so appreciative, and I'm just so overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed with the goodness of it.